Hello and welcome once again to Ben's Beer Reviews, where I try to act a little less wooden with every review. It's very exciting. Now today we're going to do a number of things, mainly review beer, but I'm also going to talk about reviewing for reasons, why I like reviews at least. And then thirdly, not secondly, I will talk about some stuff in general. So today we'll be reviewing Victory's Headwater Pale Ale. It's probably the most common beer in my house. My dad drinks it a fair amount. It's kind of his go-to. So I know this beer pretty well. I've had a lot more than any of the other three I've had. Two of which I've only had once, and that was during the review. So yeah, this place is from, not this place, this brewery is from Pennsylvania. And this is a pretty solid beer. It's very exciting. Now, let's get into the appearance. That was a pretty delicate pour, but usually there's not much of a head anyway, unless you really screw it up. So it's really only like a half finger head. Pretty tight off-white bubbles. Yeah, lots of carbonation streaming through the glass. So very nice. It's a very pretty beer. It is just kind of standard pale ale. You can see off the reflection that I am looking at Facebook. It's very exciting. Or indeed, just minimizing stuff. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing right now. It's a bit late in the day. I'm a bit bored. Today was pretty damn dull. I cooked. Things were going great for the first few hours of cooking, and then I scorched the bottom of the stew. Fuck, man, this 4 hours of work just gone. So this is my way of relaxing. Josh is out right now, and I'm the only one person here, so I might as well review. So, on the nose, the Headwater Pale Ale by Victory Brewing Company, you get a bit of malt, a nice kind of crisp, biscuity, bright, not bright flavor, but bright and kind of. When I say bright, I don't mean the fact that it's a very pale ale. I'm referring to brightness versus darkness, or in kind of sound. So new strings on guitar sound bright. And this reminds me of that. It's a very kind of shiny, I guess, nose. You do get a decent amount of hop. It is an American Pale Ale, so you will get a lot of that. The hops are very grassy, a bit of pine needle, pine cone, citrus as well. See if we can get any fruits in the citrus of the hops. Maybe a bit of grapefruit and a bit of pineapple, but it's rather subdued. It's not a double India Pale Ale. It's not outrageous. It's not hopped out the ass. It's rather constrained. It's fairly conservative. And so yeah, it's not the most interesting smelling beer, but it's a very standard American Pale Ale. It's very refreshing in the taste. I've had this plenty before. I feel fine spoiling it. So, the taste in the Victory Pale Ale, you get up front a decent amount of hop bitterness. It's kind of a zing on the palate. Once again, mainly piney hops. Obviously this is American, so there's going to be some grapefruit. The hops are pretty bitter. It's not like it's just really juicy. A bit of malt on the back end. You can feel the hops on the higher part of the back hard palate. Or no, it's soft palate at that point, which is weird. Yeah, I just explored my mouth with my tongue, because I can do that, because fuck. Who cares? I did it, whatever. So lots of kind of crackery, biscuity, not biscuity, crackery, slight breadiness, bit of toast. Um, it's not like the most exciting beer, but it is very standard, very enjoyable. For me, this is the ultimate lawnmower beer, and I mean that in the most respectful way possible. It is incredibly enjoyable, along with like a pilsner. To like a really hot day, just throw this back. It lets you know that it's there. It's like not. It does have a fair amount of taste for its body. I think how much alcohol is in this? It's not very clearly marked on the bottle. I cannot see it right now. I remember it being like 5.6 or something. But it's a very enjoyable beer. Yeah, once again, carbonation is still just streaming off the glass. It's very simple, very straightforward, but it's done very well, and it's very enjoyable. Lots of flavor. So I will give this a rating of 80 out of 100. And I mentioned two other things. The first was I was going to talk about reviewing. So when I was making stew today, we're making a Belgian type of stew called carbonade. And in that stew you put in some beer. So I went to go get Belgian ale. It made sense for a Belgian stew. And it had tasting notes on it. And that's awesome. So what I'm going to talk about right now is there's a school of thought. I don't know if it's a school, it's not organized by any means. It's pretty pervasive though. And it's trying to avoid reviews until you've had a thing, or not seen them at all. The reason being, it would interfere with your personal experience of something. And I think this is pretty dumb, like really dumb. I really enjoy watching film reviews, or other beer reviews, or whiskey reviews, or really reviews of anything I like. Reason being, it will affect my experience of something. Not only will it make a informed purchase or expenditure, it will give me a bit more information or help me see things in a different way. Perfect example. When I first saw the film Chinatown, which is now my favorite film of all time, you should all watch it. It's crushingly depressing. When I first saw it, I was really depressed. It's not like a really weepy movie, but when you see it, it really is really despairing at the end. And the first time I saw it, I thought it was so depressing I never really wanted to see it again. But there's something the filmmaker does, Roman Polanski, and then he intended to do, which is to kind of use the sadness, make it stick in your mind, that if it ended happily, you really wouldn't care about it. You'd be like, oh, that's a good movie, and you would move on. So I looked at like a kind of synopsis of the film. It's actually spark notes of it, and it's talking about the theming in it, and that really got me interested in seeing it again. And I watched it again with the theming in mind, and once again, it's my favorite film of all time. I really, really love this film. It is superb. But there's no reason to avoid something because it will affect your view of it, or to avoid reviews of something because it will affect your view of a film, your view of a beer. If it does and helps me appreciate something more, great, that's awesome. I want to like things. I enjoy loving being and being enraptured by it. There's no reason why I shouldn't. So I find that kind of mode of thinking where you try to avoid reviews before a film comes out to be thoroughly dumb. If it helps you enjoy a film that you should be enjoying, which is most films, provided they're made well enough, with enough care by the makers, then yeah, you should try to find ways to appreciate it. I'm not saying that there are no bad films, there plainly are. I'm not saying there are no bad beers, there are. And if no one likes them, if they're of inferior quality, stay away. But if they have something that you wouldn't notice about them that would change your opinion of it, by all means, find that out. It's awesome. Secondly, thirdly, I did it again, same video, damn. I've decided I should have like an intro for these videos, maybe like a few, like, scenes where, not scenes, fuck, maybe a few cards where it goes appearance, aroma, taste. And I've decided that the clip of music I want for that will be a very simple vocal riff that's super cheesy by the band Lost Horizon. Lost Horizon makes the cheesiest music ever, and the vocal riff goes something like this. I'm going to have to do it in falsetto partly, which I don't usually do, so this will be odd, but it's... Whoa, I don't have to do that in falsetto, which is cool. It's actually an octave higher, if not two, in the song. I'll post links below, but I'll try to eventually learn to like use Windows Movie Maker to edit that crap in somewhere. It's really cheesy, you should check it out. So, this has been a number of sundry things, but most importantly, Victory Brewing Headwater Pale Ale, which I gave an 80 out of 100. Once again, it has lots of piney, crackery, and some citric notes. If you like pale ales, if you're just kicking back in the summer or if you're going to a party, this is a perfectly good option. See you next time on Ben's Beer Reviews, where I will do any number of things, because whatever.